This is the Wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Welcome back to this episode where we're going to pick up where we left off from the last one, talking about these 5 oil companies here. Now, what we're saying in the last episode, if you didn't watch it, we made a distinction between Exxon, Occidental and Shell, the ones in the lighter colour, saying these are ones with exposure in the Middle East, whereas 9 Energy Services and Phillips 66 are more US-based companies. Now, what happened when the markets opened on Friday? 9 Energy and Phillips went down, whereas Exxon, Occidental and Shell all went up. So that is a very good correlation. I'm very surprised I got that right on the first episode. Now, what we're talking about here is the price of crude oil, the war in Ukraine. Biden announces the largest release of oil reserves in an effort to curb gasoline prices. Okay, now crude oil prices went down, so technically Shell and Exxon should have gone down, because if the value of crude comes down, the value of gas prices come down, the money to those companies and technically the value of those companies goes down as well. However, it went up. It tells us companies with US exposure become less valuable when crude oil falls. Okay, so that must mean there's a timing difference between the price of oil and the price at the pumps. Okay, so let's keep watching gas prices to see what happens there. The war in Ukraine isn't the biggest thing happening in this sector. There's more to consider. Well, it's oil and gas wrapped up in politics, so there's a lot to consider. So what I'm here to do today is to find a company which is correlated to what's going on that will go up in value. So what do we do here? What are we looking to explore? So the first thing I'm going to look at is the Russell 2000. Smaller companies still listed in the US, oil and gas companies. If I look at the list here, generally speaking, they all went up on Friday. 5%, 3%, 3%, 1%, 5%. Okay, fine. So I come down to this company here, Comstock Resources Inc., up 7.2% yesterday. Okay, so our theory would tell us that this company is not based in the US because it went up. So, okay, let's have a look at who the company is. Okay, and we come across this here. Comstock Resources is a leading independent natural gas producer with operations focused on development of Haynesville Shale in North Louisiana and East Texas. Okay, that doesn't really make any sense. Okay, let's have a look at countries with the largest oil reserves, because we want to know what's going on behind the scenes. Where's all this stuff happening that right now we can't see? Top 10 countries are Venezuela, Saudi, Canada, Iran, Iraq, Russia, Kuwait and the UAE. Fine. So let's look at oil transportation companies. What happened there yesterday? Okay, generally speaking, they all went up. 1%, 3%, 4%, 4%. Mitsui OSK is actually based in Japan, whereas the rest are European and the US. That kind of makes sense. Okay. So let's have a look at US pipelines. What we're trying to do is we're trying to find things that match up to what we've seen happen in the market. Phillips 66 and 9 Energy came down, whereas the rest went up. That doesn't make much sense to me. They should typically move in sync with one another. 9 Energy Services went down 7.24%. So this company here that we're looking at, 9 Energy Services, is a leading completion services provider that targets unconventional oil and gas development across all North American basins and abroad. We partner with our customers to design and develop downhole solutions and technology to prepare horizontal multi-stage wells for production. Okay, fine. So because of the release of 1 million barrels of oil, the value of completion services in North America has fallen. Okay, we're saying that's a fact. We're saying that's what's happened. Okay. So why did the markets respond in this way with these 5 companies in question? Now let's have a look at Phillips 66, which was the major topic of the last video I did. We're saying they're a pipeline company, 22,000 miles of US pipeline systems, crude and oil, transportation. They're also refining 2 million barrels per day of crude oil throughput capacity. Okay, so Biden releases 1 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Okay, so the question here is, where is the Strategic Petroleum Reserve? The reserve is stored at 4 sites on the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, so because there's been oil in the Gulf of Mexico that's been released, then that would make sense that transportation goes up, but the value of completion services in the US, 9 Energy, has gone down. And in this context, we're saying Phillips 66 is a US pipeline service. The share price has also gone down. Okay, so that theory to me makes sense as to why 9 Energy went down so much as it did yesterday. So what I'm looking for now is a smaller company who can respond to the war in Ukraine, rising crude prices, rising gas prices, Biden releasing 1 million barrels, big oil is up, oil transportation is up, our 9 energy company, oil and US and gas completion is down, and Phillips 66 US pipeline and refining is also down. So I'm going to head back to the Russell 2000. What I'm looking for is something that matches the price of crude oil. Now, the reason I'm looking for something that matches the price of crude oil is because we can use it as an indicator. So company Shell, one of the world's largest oil companies, if you look at the charts here, we're saying these two pretty similar over the last 6 months. Crude oil dropped from November 21 and then has risen since then. Shell has also done the same. So if I go back to my Russell 2000 oil and gas, we're saying over the last 6 months, these companies have kind of been all over the place. If I keep going down the list here in the middle, CNX Resources, that's been a very steady increase over the last 6 months. That really sticks out to me. And what we're looking for is the reasons why. We're not here to analyse the charts and chartism, all that stuff. We're here to understand the facts of what allows this to happen. What makes this happen in the real world that right now we can't see. Now, the question I like to ask is who? Who is this company? Who is CNX? So let's have a quick look at the last 5 days here. Over the last 5 days, we're saying obviously it's been turbulent with what's going on. That seems pretty normal. Now, if we go to the company website, so who we are, focused on the future, with operations centered in the major shale formations of the Appalachian Basin. Okay, fine. So if we look at the size of the company on LinkedIn, 382 employees. If we compare that to Friday's video, 10,400 employees. A big company like Schlumberger, 100,000 employees. So 300 employees, that's quite a small company. Okay, so here we're saying shale is a finely grained sedimentary rock that when silt and clay-sized mineral particles are compacted, and it is easily broken into thin parallel layers. Black shale contains organic material that can generate oil and natural gas, which is trapped within the rock's pores. And here we have a map of the shale plays, and we're talking about the top right hand corner here, the north east of the United States, where they're based. So if I was going to invest in this company, I'm interested in the who. Who are these guys? Who is this company? So if we go on to LinkedIn, we find the President and Chief Executive Officer here. Okay. He went to law school, CNX. If we go to his experience here, you can see he's been at the company for the last 31 years. Now that tells me one of two things. Either he's lazy and just hasn't bothered getting another job, or he knows what he's doing. Okay. So if I want to see a video of this guy. I want to see him talk. Like who is he? Is he a leader? Is he a follower? So going on YouTube, I find this video here. And here they're talking about energy prices. And the first answer he gives is, we're a manufacturer. He's answering the who of the company. Now, if you watch the video, I get the gist of this guy. He knows what he's doing. He's been at the company for 31 years. Comes across as a very, very smart man. And companies like that, they know what they're doing. So if we have a quick look at the revenues for the last 5 years, here we're saying 2016, 759k, 2017, 1455, 2018, 1730, 2019, 1922, 2020, 1275. And these numbers are in thousands, so those numbers are actually in billions, not millions. If we have a quick look here, we're saying Wells Fargo and Company raised their price target on shares from $23 to $26. That was 2 days ago. Okay, now I am very excited by this company. I'm going to keep following them. Right now, I'm not saying invest. I've been following oil and gas for about 3 days. I don't know anything about this market, this industry. But I'm going to stay with them because they obviously know what they're doing. And very quickly, I just want to talk about the rotation into retail. Anybody remember 2 years ago or 18 months ago, after the reopening of coronavirus, there was what was known as the revenge spend, whereas retail rocketed after the decline in 2020. If we look at these retail companies here, the last 6 months, they've all fallen. Now, what I find, again, something to me that doesn't make sense, is this company called Coates Group PLC. Over the last month, they're up quite significantly. You can see that's rocketed. Coats Group PLC is a British multinational company. It is the world's largest manufacturer and distributor of sewing threads and supplies, and the second largest manufacturer of zips and fasteners after YKK. Okay, so why would a company like that raise 16.7% in the last month? A manufacturer of sewing thread and supplies and zips and fasteners. This stuff takes time. You have to manufacture it, you have to get it somewhere else, they have to design and manufacture clothes, get them out to the shelves in order to be sold. So what are these guys predicting? What do these people know? To me, if retail is down, then why would the manufacturer be up? I'll pick up on this in the future. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Comments, I will comment back. So I can start making these videos every day. Thanks.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful